I see you staring at me, Sly. Don't look away now. I caught you. Oh, now you act like I'm not talking to you now, right? Hey. He looks so grumpy. Hello everyone, Justin, or Crazy J here. And today's video is going to be a little bit different. Today we're going to be talking about something a wee bit controversial, just a little bit. If you guys don't know, I love comics and I love comic book movies. Love them. Love the MCU. Love some DC movies. I will not pretend to know everything about comics. I just started collecting comics a few years ago and I stopped, and I'm collecting comics again. I don't know everything about comics, but I know my fair share thanks to YouTube and Google. But that's not the controversial part. The controversial part is that we are going to be answering a question today. The question is, are characters like Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Riri Williams Ironheart SJW characters? If you don't know, SJW means Social Justice Warriors. And well, to be honest, no. Let's get serious here. We can't fully answer this question, and I can't defend my stance without first describing what an SJW is. The term Social Justice Warrior comes from the term social justice. Of course, makes sense. Now, social justice is a political and philosophical. This is correct the first time. Wow. Getting good at this, guys. A concept in which people should have equal opportunities of wealth, health, and well, just be treated like a human being. For example, slavery was is a total social injustice. If you were African American or anyone with dark skin, you were treated as less than human. You were treated as an object. You were sold like you were a piece of furniture. Now, SJW was a mostly positive term. It's not till most recent years, thanks to Twitter, or thanks to individuals on Twitter and Instagram and other social media platforms, that this term has gone from a positive thing to a negative thing. These individuals on Twitter and on anything, they use the term SJW as a way to downplay or lessen someone's argument, to make it irrelevant, or make it not irrelevant, but yeah, just lessen their point of view. I mean, it's crazy right now. I've been called there's certain topics where I will side with the right wing side, but it's right wing, left wing thing. I think it's stupid. Anyways, I'll side with the right wing side of things on a certain topic, and I'll be called a racist. And I'm like, dude, look at my skin. I'm Dominican and Colombian. I'm a minority. And then they'll be like, oh, well, you're a traitor. What? Anyways, all right. And then there's sometimes I side on the left wing side of things and on a stance, and I get called a SJW. The term is being thrown around way too much nowadays, and it's losing its meaning. It's losing its credibility. It sucks. Now you may be asking, but Jay, what does this have to do with comics? Let me explain. Comics, believe it or not, reflect our real life society. I mean, there were even comics back after September 11th that dealt with Spider-Man not having, God, this is gonna kill me here. With Spider-Man not being able to save, everybody in New York, and he was devastated. There were stories about Dr. Doom, who's a villain, being just devastated because all these people died. Comics take real life issues and turn them into stories we can relate to in a subtle and sometimes not so subtle way. Now let's bring in Miles Morales and Riri Williams. Two characters were created by Brian Michael Bendis, and who took on hero personas that were once owned by Caucasian characters. I will try to describe the difference between their counterparts as best as I can. God, this is annoying me. Now let's start with Miles Morales. Miles Morales is a Puerto Rican, African American teenager who lives in Brooklyn. He is the ultimate universe version of Spider-Man. He is now in the main 616 universe. If you don't know what that means, it's okay. We don't have to. It's not important. He took over as Spider-Man after his universe's version of Peter Parker died. Now, Riri Williams is a hero known as Ironheart. If you can guess by name, she is the female African American version of Iron Man. She made her own suit without Tony's help, and she took over the role as Iron Man or Ironheart after Tony Stark died during the events of Civil War II. Both his characters came onto the scene with a lot of controversy, a lot of drama, mostly because they were coming in to replace these two well-known characters, well-loved characters. You have Peter Parker and you have Tony Stark, and they're well-loved. And I could see the frustrations and the grudge people hold against these characters for that. I understand that. Thankfully, you know, Tony Stark and Peter Parker came back somehow, some way because of comics. But some people don't like these characters because they are labeled as SJW characters, which is totally wrong. Nothing about their origins or stories or their motivation to fight has anything to do with social justice. They just fight for justice. I mean, there are a few instances where social justice issues are brought into their comics, where I just bring those in just to be relatable, right? But their overall story arcs, their origins, their main motivation has nothing to do with social justice. They fight for justice. You sense the theme here? Social justice versus justice. How there's a difference? Keep that in mind. Let's keep that going. So let's focus on Miles Morales for a second here. His story focuses on his struggles on trying to be Spider-Man and Miles Morales. He's more like Peter Parker in that sense. Peter's focus isn't on social justice, it's on justice. The thing about Miles that makes him different than Peter is that, yes, he is African American / Hispanic, but his supporting cast actually makes him different. Miles has his own stories, his own characters who are there to help him, or his own villains who are there to destroy him and hurt him. He even has his own version of Uncle Ben, and even that character is different. Uncle Ben to Peter Parker was a great man, a great role model, right? While Uncle Aaron, Miles' uncle, is a villain. He's a thief. He's the Prowler. Two totally different characters for two totally different protagonists, but they serve the same purpose to inspire our protagonist to be a hero. Miles had and has different internal conflicts than Peter, and different anxieties. While they share a lot of the same issues and a lot of the same struggles, they are different characters. So different that, like, even Tom Holland's Peter Parker, the MCU Spider-Man, or Sony Spider-Verse Peter Parker, that character was greatly inspired by Miles Morales in the writing. I mean, even Peter's best friend in the movie, Ned, is inspired by Miles' best friend in the comics, Genki. I mean, look at them. They even look alike. The reason why I'm giving you this information is to show you that Miles is more than just a black Spider-Man or a black Peter Parker. His supporting cast and his own internal struggles give his stories a different feel and a different narrative. Let's go to Riri Williams. I will admit I don't know much about Riri, but she's kind of in the same boat. Kind of. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I'm not a fan of her character. In fact, I've only read like 2 or 3 comics of hers, mostly because I just think she's not an interesting character. Part of the reason why is because it's the opposite of what makes Miles Morales a great character. Her supporting cast wasn't original. Her supporting cast at first was mostly Tony Stark's supporting cast. I digress. The main difference between her and Tony is Tony's main motivation to be a hero is to stroke his ego, and that doesn't make him a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, you know, thrashing on Tony Stark. I'm just saying what it is. And Riri's motivation is to just help people because she wants to help. Now, like I said, I'm not saying Tony Stark's a bad guy or a bad person. He has his flaws, and one of that is his ego. But he's still a great hero, and he's still a good character. But both him and her, Riri, fight for justice, not social justice. You know, she doesn't fly around, you know, saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm the female Iron Man. And I deserve my own, you know, I deserve just as much rights as Tony does." No, that's not it is. Her stories, her conflicts, her fights are not designed because around her gender or her race. She has her own stories, her own struggles that have nothing to do with her gender or her race. She's just a hero. She fights for justice, not social justice, just like Miles and many other heroes. Now, there are some heroes out there who do fight for social justice. There's one group in particular who's well known to fight for social justice. You have the X-Men, right? A group of people who are different than the rest, mutants, who are always persecuted and always fight for their rights, fight for their mutant rights to live an equal life with humans. Those are real SJWs, and they're done correctly. Right now, they have an awesome series, by the way. They're currently releasing. It's like they release every week. There's House of X and Powers of X. So good. I suggest you read that, guys. If you want to get into comic books, or if you like X-Men, even if you don't like X-Men, I was never into X-Men, but oh my god, these two series are amazing. Anyways, well, even now, these current issues, House of X, mostly House of X, deal with the X-Men or the mutants trying to find a way to live away from humans and have their own country because humanity has treated them so wrong, and they just want to live a normal life and be treated as equal amongst their peers. And unfortunately, a lot of us can relate to that. I mean, you don't have to be a minority. You could be Caucasian too and still feel. You can even, I mean, it's not even specific to right now. You can go back and read the old X-Men stories and still have that same tone of fighting for our rights, fighting for social justice. That tone is still there. I mean, sit down and read some Miles Morales, Spider-Man, or Riri Williams, Ironheart. Don't fall asleep. And then sit down and read some X-Men, and you'll see that the X-Men's motivational tone are so different than Miles and Riri. They just are. You'll sense that tone. You could read, you could read them back to back to back. Read one issue of Miles, read one issue of Ironheart, and read one issue of the X-Men. You'll get that tone, right? Just because a character is a minority doesn't mean they're SJWs. I got told that just because Miles and Riri were created because so Brian Michael Bendis' adopted daughters can have someone to relate to, that makes them SJWs. No, that just makes them relatable. If that was the case, then heroes like Superman and Captain America, who by the way were created to inspire Americans, should be labeled as SJWs as well. I mean, Captain America, I love Captain America. He's my favorite. He's my favorite character, right? But he was made to inspire Americans. He should be labeled as an SJW, but he's not. You know why? Because if you read his comics, if you read Superman comics, their stories, their main plot, their main drive isn't to fight for American rights. They were at first, but it's evolved past that since then. They fight for justice, just for plain old justice. Just like Miles, just like Riri. And this is where I pass the floor on to you guys and gals. Do you like Riri? Do you like Miles? Do you think they're SJWs? Do you not think they're SJWs? Why or why not? Leave a comment below and let's try to have a civil conversation in the comment section. I'll join in as well. If you want a more live interaction type of setting to talk about this, you can find me on twitch.tv/crazyj, where I stream every Monday early afternoon and Tuesday and Wednesday nights. You can also follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, and Snapchat, and TikTok. No videos on TikTok yet, but maybe one day in the future. Follow me on those social media platforms. The name is Crazy J, just like Twitch and YouTube. Again, this is Crazy J. And I'll see you guys next time. Oh, I'm bad at this. Please like and subscribe.